Welcome all and good evening back to DAS TV. Thank you so far to everybody that's liked, subscribed to the channel. And remember, if you haven't, to like, subscribe and comment to the channel and to this video. Delighted today, chuffed to be featuring official Saif from his official Saif's YouTube channel. A couple of thousand subscribers now, or more than a couple of thousand, I should say, Saif. How's things, mate? And obviously I haven't been talking shit a while, but we're in a WhatsApp group. We keep in regular enough contact about the latest stuff, and it's hopping at the moment. When it's a bit of silly season, everybody's linked with us, and anybody that's linked with us then isn't going to go to us, and players that are not linked to it is going to be coming in, you know. So no, it's great to have you on, mate. And obviously off the back of a 1-0 friendly win against Mainz, nothing really too exciting, not a great game, but I mean, we got to win. That's the most important thing. And well, look, as I said in the COP TV, I left a comment in earlier that, you know, if we get a win, a 1-0, a win and a clean sheet the first game of the season, we're taking it all day long. So what's your thoughts on the game just gone against Mainz? And albeit, look, it's only a pre-season, I know, but it's still
so yeah. I'll be honest, I missed a lot of the game, but I did keep up, look at the lineups, that sort of stuff, and it's really nice to see a lot of new names on the team sheet. And like you were talking about transfers and us not succeeding with transfers, and I think we've got great youth that, and just looking at Klopp's way that he does stuff, he usually gets a player from young and develops them quite well, as opposed to buying ready-made players like other teams do. Yeah, and I think that's one really good feature about it. But also, I don't know if that's going to keep us at the top level of the competition in the Premier League, because it's literally the most competitive league in the world. But about today's game, it was nice to see some of the youngsters that we've been going on about for a while to actually play on the pitch. I think even seeing some players back that I haven't seen. One particular player, Navigator, I've seen it in the comments as well. Navi was good today.
Yeah, Ali Avik, shout out.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch much of the game, but the little clips that I did see, Navigator's little bit of fast footwork. Can't wait to see that in the Premier League. And yeah, I mean, pick up a win. Nice little way to start and just keep going forward.
Yeah, and look, it was great because I think a lot of us at times have been fairly extremely frustrated by Naby. We know the potential, we know the qualities he has, how explosive he is, and you know the type of midfielder he is, how good he is, and he can be a dominant midfielder. But the problem is, so he's consistently injured. You know, more too often. I mean, I think Xavi Alonso made more appearances in one season than what Naby's made in the 3 seasons, going on 4 seasons he's been at us. So it's shocking, really, you know, and we can't carry passengers, but it looks like he's not going to be sold. It looks like he'll be kept. And I mean, it's a good start, a great start to pre-season, that he's put in the shifter, he's put in the 45 minutes, but it's we don't be too premature about it, do we, and talking him up too much, really, even though he was good today, because we know that of him, you know, we expect that. It's just trying to stay fit though, isn't it?
Exactly. And you know what, like I remember there was that point where they were talking about him linking to other clubs and potentially moving and just not fitting Liverpool's framework because of his injury crisis and whatnot. But I think Klopp came out and said that Naby is part of his plans for next season. And I'm sure towards the end of last season, he was getting minutes here and there, but not large portions of the game or anything like that. So I'm hoping that he's just been given this time an incredibly long amount of time to just get himself back to full fitness until he's fully confident. Because even when he did come on, you could kind of see him pulling out tackles here and there. And I'm just hoping like this gradual towards the end of last season, and now being part of, because in the pre-season, he'd be one of the senior players as opposed to a lot of the younger players coming through. So him having that position alongside other senior players, it's a good sign for me. But obviously we can't get too excited. I mean, number one, it's Mainz. Number two, I'm sure they're playing youngsters out as well. So it's not anything to look at in terms of how he's going to perform in the Prem, but we just look for signs and hope for the best.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, pre-season, it's just about experimenting, getting concentrated, focused, getting a shift in, and you know, getting the mistakes out of the way, really, isn't it, before the competitive stuff. So Ali A there, another shout out, and we looked intimidating. Sorry there, get it up, intimidating. When we have Matip and Ibu, that's Kanate at the back. Yeah, totally. I mean, that's possibly the 2 centre-backs we're going to start off at Carrow Road against Norwich with, because it doesn't look like Van Dijk and Gomez are back to 100% yet. And by the time the season kicks off in 3 weeks, it's probably going to be too rushed for them. So I've no problem with Kanate and Matip starting centre-back. I think Matip on his day is unbelievable. but it's
Konate
again staying
looks
fit.
like an absolute beast. Like I cannot wait to see him in full action. The thing is, I didn't realize how big he was until I seen one of the training pictures of him and Van Dijk together.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Mate, I'm telling you, if I was a striker running at those two, I'll start running the other direction.
Yeah, you're going the opposite way. You're going back to your keeper. Yeah, no, look, he's massive. I mean, he's only turned 22, potentially going to be world class. Very composed, very compact today, which I really liked as well about Konate. I thought him and Matip at centre back really good. He lined up on the left side of centre back, Konate did, and he looked unruffled for much of the game and showed he has recovery pace on a number of occasions. He snuffed out a lot of attacks from Mainz. So, good all round today from Konate. And I mean, he only played 45, same with Naby, same with Matip. So it's hard to give them too much praise, and it's a friendly, but you can only, I suppose, give talking points on what you witnessed. And that today was good enough for me. And I was really pleased with how we went about our business. And
exactly. Another nice player to see back was Harvey Elliott.
Brilliant. Midfield.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he will break his way into the first team, like first 11 next season or get more game time, but he has been good on loan and he's got so much potential. And from what I know about him, despite the fact that he's been like, everyone's been like raving on about him, Liverpool fans and stuff like that. His parents are really down to earth. He's down to earth and he's just a lot focused on his football than as opposed to everything around it. So I'm just hoping, because a lot of things you see about young players, especially now, is they get a bit inflated as players. And
absolutely.
I think a good example would probably be forgotten his name now, Jesse Lingard. The way a lot of the United fans were going on about him puts a lot of pressure on him. So I think coming onto the pitch with that kind of pressure does a lot. But with Harvey Elliott, he just seems very focused on his football, and I'm just hoping that he can continue that, because at his age, if he starts getting game time this season, can you imagine what he'll be in 2-3 years' time?
Yeah, exactly. And look, I mean, Harvey, there were spells of the game today where he would have found difficult and tough. I mean, he's 17 years of age. He's coming in with these Liverpool players, a lot of them ready-made, world class, a lot of them obviously on the back end of winning the Champions League and the Premier League. But he's done more than bits at Blackburn, hasn't he? And he deserves his chance, and I think he will be given a chance next season. Obviously, fairly early days to say he's going to break into the starting 11, but hopefully we get a much better run than we have in the Jurgen Klopp era. In the domestic cups, he gets more of a run, and he makes the bench more and stuff like that and comes on in games, because he's going to be a handful. But as you said, his attitude, the discipline's there. He's very focused, and that's all you want from a young player and any player coming through. And if he has those ingredients and he sticks to those basics and principles, then there's no doubt about it. I'm talking about Konate being potentially world class. So could Harvey Elliott. He could be the next best thing. And look, he's full control of everything. Once he stays injury free, he keeps the head down. I've no doubt about him going on and doing wonders. Big shout out there to man like Shawnee, bless up boys, and obviously to Ali A. Thanks as well for dropping in the comments, lads, and Shawnee. So, look, he, as I said today, he started in the midfield with Milner. Who else is in midfield with him? Keita. Yeah, so Milner was more holding Keita as well, and Harvey giving a bit of freedom. What you make of Ox in this false nine? Didn't do a lot today, although we had the best chance in the first half, should have scored. But wasn't brilliant today in it, but it's going to take time to settle. And I suppose pre-season's all about taking time and letting them adjust. What do you think of the whole thing of Ox in a false nine? I mean, is that something you're up for? Or?
I mean, I think it's interesting. And one thing about Ox that I've always loved is his very directional style of play. Like, he's very direct when he picks the ball up. And if he is playing in that false nine, I could see him coming with a very different dynamic to, say, Firmino. And like I said, I didn't get to watch much of today's game. And even today's game, it's hard to reflect on what can happen over the season because a lot of the players only played 45 minutes. But Ox, also another player with a ton of pressure on his shoulders, because when he left from Arsenal to come to Liverpool, they called him a flop, and they were saying that it's like the end of his career and all that sort of stuff. But he's coming into that Liverpool team. You've got to realise that, no offence to Arsenal and Arsenal fans, but Liverpool are a crop above Arsenal, and to come to that Liverpool team and then try to break into that first team is a big challenge, let alone actually performing well on that pitch. And Ox has had his moments. He's had great moments where he's come on the pitch, changed the game, added a bit more speed and tempo to the game and stuff like that. And I think him playing in that false nine, we've seen Firmino struggle with it a lot last season. And a lot of people would put Firmino's performances down to our little goalless run that we had in the Premier League. But I think having options there is a very important thing. And
I agree.
with different styles as well. Because we know, like I'm saying, Ox is very direct, whereas Firmino can be very... Firmino's like a great presser, but sometimes when he picks up the ball, he's not going directly for the keeper. And the fact that we've got these options now, it means that number one, Firmino needs to up his game. He can't expect that position. He can't expect that first 11 call up every single time. And it also gives Ox another opportunity to come in slightly different and challenge someone else for their role. So, I mean, I think there's no bad word to say about Ox playing at that false nine position.
Absolutely. I mean, I totally agree with you there. It's going to be competition. And not only that, but with Ox potentially being there in competition for Firmino, keeps Firmino on his feet, something that he hasn't had enough competition there. You know, we know Origi hasn't played much and he's been coming on late. And we knew that Origi was never realistic competition. We know there was probably more competition with Salah when he played as that number 9, you know. But look, Bobby's Bobby and they're both different players, him and Ox. But I like the potential of Ox going in there at number 9, as you said, for a number of reasons. But like that, I know a couple of Arsenal fans slated him. He's only going to be 28 next month. He came to us when he was like 24. Really still a kid in a man's game, you know. And now at 28, if he stays fit, he could be going into potentially the peak of his career. You just wonder, have them injuries had a big setback? But look, Ox has had tremendous attitude, tremendous discipline and passion to come back from the injuries that he's had and to now be potentially talking about being a number 9 in what is considered a great Liverpool team, you know. And as you said, you've been waxing lyrics there about him, Saif, about how good he is and what he can offer, but we just want to see more of that. And we've seen at the latter stages of last season, come on, at Burnley scored, but in other games he was explosive, very dynamic, he was going for goal, and that's what we want to see, Mox, you know. And he's a very positive lad to have around the squad, brings a lot of squad harmony, you know, which again is something we need as well when you have Jurgen Klopp at the helm, because he loves all that, doesn't he? Guys, Ali there's throwing a comment. Guys, Vlahovic is getting heavily linked to us in a swap with Origi. What is your thoughts and for the Wilson to Fulham? Yeah, I know there's big speculation around Harry Wilson going to Fulham. Do you know what about this lad, Vlahovic, the Serbian striker? He's very young lad, 21. Good experience though in Serie A with Fiorentina, and again a goal scorer, but someone that would probably flourish with Jurgen Klopp when he can take in the age and that he is. You know what I mean?
Do you know? There's been this talk of Liverpool getting a new striker, trying to find a goal scorer and everything like that. And where a lot of teams, like I was saying before, where a lot of teams in the Premier League try to get ready-made players, whereas we kind of go for a player that's making his way there, but not just there yet, like Konate, for example. And I think, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Vlahovic. Is in the same boat. I think even if we were to sign him, we wouldn't see that much of him next season. I think it's more of an investment buy. But as far as I can remember, I was just checking some of his stats and stuff like that. He's almost 2 meters tall, so he's massive. What's he? 1.90 meters, 6'3". So he's quite big for a striker, and we don't have any particularly big strikers. And if you look at who we've got in fullback positions, we've got Robbo, who can put in a good cross, and we've got Trent, who's just unbelievable with his crosses. So having
Henderson from midfield and that,
do you get what I mean? So having someone like that in the box could be the difference between us going a few games without a goal or us picking up 3-4 goals a game, because we've got that big player in the middle who's going to win the headers. I think right now we're relying on Mane to win balls being whipped into the box, and Mane is not exactly your aerial player.
No, best that aerial duel,
But there's also the thing of, if you look at it, I can't really recall, other than Peter Crouch, any players, any tall big players at strike that have really worked in the Liverpool way. Because I think first comes to mind is Andy Carroll. He was good, but not amazing. He was no Fernando Torres.
No.
And then the other one that comes to mind is Benteke, who you could literally call a flop at Liverpool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean,
I agree with you there, Saif. I mean, but this lad, 21, good experience, plays for the Serbian national team, has got, I think, 2 goals and 6 or 7 appearances, has got a good couple of goals in Serie A. So, you know, it sounds potentially like, I mean, we talk about Jurgen Klopp doesn't buy superstars, he makes superstars, and this again could be potentially one. I mean, if that's a swap deal for Origi, I'm probably on it already. I don't know a lot about him, but from what I've seen and heard in the last couple of days when there's speculation with him, yeah, he looks to be he could be a prized asset in the future. I mean, 21, as I said. Let's see. Shawnee there, man, like Shawnee, any news on where Ben Davies was? He was sent home, wasn't he? He's gone back. I don't know what had happened, whether it was some issue had happened, but he had to go home. I don't know whether it was some emergency, so he's gone home. I don't know whether it's for a transfer, could be, I'm not sure, but yeah, he had to leave Austria. He's gone back to the UK, so I don't know any more than that, but he did play during night and Tuesday. It's the only game he played for Liverpool. Obviously, a pre-season, only played a half an hour. But Ben Davies, good experience in the Championship. If you ask anyone off Preston, has done really well in the 3 seasons there, being very composed, compact. But I don't know what it is at Liverpool, whatever, maybe fitness or whatever. He comes in January, doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking online about it, and it just says that Klopp was caught giving Ben Davies a last-minute hug, so I don't know. It could be a family issue or something like that.
Yeah,
he was someone that was keen to finally getting some game time as well. But
yeah, and look, we wish him all the best as well, whatever it is. I think, look, Ben Davies, the hologram might be leaving, and we keep Naldini, so that's Naldini, not Van Dijk, Cam as you like, not Phillips, yeah, and then obviously, in relation to what you were saying, Saif, the cross from Trent and Robin Simicast as well to this big guy, yeah. So big shout out there, Finner's easy now, lads. Yeah, yeah. Look, I mean, Vlahovic, I don't know a lot about, but could be that type of player that, you know, potentially comes on then to be world class, kicks on. Guys, do you know who he reminds me of? This guy Haaland. He is not Haaland, but it reminds you of him. Okay, Ali, that's a good shout. As I said, I don't know a lot about him, but if you know more, definitely drop it in the comments, and appreciate all the lads in there in the comments. So I suppose, look, Mainz today, it's only a friendly. I believe when we won the Champions League in 2005, Rafa was managing in the pre-season for us, and Mainz, who Jurgen Klopp was manager of at the time, beat us 5-0. The last time we played them in 2016, when Jurgen Klopp was Liverpool manager, they beat us 4-0 in the friendly. So it was good today to get a win, keep a clean sheet against them. They're a bit of a bogey team for some friendlies, aren't they? And not only that, another fun fact is Jurgen Klopp is their longest ever serving manager. He was there for 7 years, and then obviously 11 years as playing a centre back for them. So big affiliation with Klopp and Mainz, and he would have been just happy, I suppose, to get the win over them and keep the clean sheet. But as I said, if we can do that in the first game of the season against Norwich, go to Carrow Road, keep a clean sheet, get a win, even if it's an own goal, we're taking it all day long, aren't we, just to kick off the season? You're looking forward to the new season, Saif?
So it's a good question, because I've been looking forward to the season since February. But to be honest, I don't know. I've been on a bit of a roller coaster of emotions with how this season's going to go. Initially, I thought, you know what, we're having, like, as in the season that's just gone, I was thinking we're having a terrible season. There's no way we're fighting for that first spot. And we did what we needed to do and just saw the season out. And I was hoping that this season would be the change of everything. But with all the stuff in the transfer window, the signings, and now all this news about Jordan Henderson, I don't know if there've been any developments on that. But I feel like if we were to lose Henderson, he's the kind of the web that keeps everything together at Liverpool, because he's no Steven Gerrard, but he is Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal captain, isn't he? Phenomenal leader. Gets an element of respect we don't see.
Yeah, like over summer, I had the chance to meet Naby Keita and had a nice discussion with him, and genuinely,
big shout out, that was unreal.
Yeah. He's a top guy, by the way. But the stuff that he was explaining about Henderson and his character and what he brings, not just to the pitch, but to the changing room, is incredible. Like, he is... I can't really put into words how he explained it, but it made me realise how much a player like that means to a team and the sort of impact a player like that can have on the team. Like, he was telling me little things, for example, how much more confident he feels when he's got Henderson on the pitch alongside him, or any player in the team feels that confidence when Henderson's on the pitch. And obviously that relays back into the changing room, that relays back to training sessions. And once a player like Henderson leaves, and if he's to leave on kind of a bad note because of and these are just speculations because of his relationship with the owners or because he's not getting what he wants and that sort of stuff, then it leaves a bit of a sour taste for all the players because of the respect they've got for Henderson, and it could really shake the attitude of the changing room. And there's something I'm really hoping doesn't happen. Other than that, I mean, we need to really knuckle down on some of these signings because, for example, we were linked with Saul, and then suddenly Man United are in for him, and they've got a bigger chance of signing him. We were in for, I can't remember right now,
Sanchez.
But yeah, Sanchez, and United went and that deal, and it's just like, how many more deals are we going to go for? Are we here advertising deals, or are we here trying to buy players? Do you get what I mean? So it's just a bit frustrating that now the Premier League, as much as it's down to football, business is a big part of it, and signing players, being able to get great deals, and showing like bigger players that this is the place to be next season. And I think you look at Chelsea or even like Man City, and a lot of players might look at Man City and be like, yeah, that's where I want to go next season. Even Manchester United, with them signing Sancho and a lot of hype around the club, with them getting Jesse Lingard back and everything like that, I can imagine players being attracted to wanting to go there. Whereas you look at Liverpool, and we're in a situation where our captain isn't getting along with the owners. We've just come off the back of probably one of the worst seasons we've had in a while. And it's just like, all right, cool. Which way is this club going? Do I want to risk my career by going to a club that might just go a bit under fourth place? So there's just a lot of questions being asked right now.
Yeah, there is. And do you know what, Saif? It might give you some reassurance. But what my whole take on, first of all, I suppose, right, we have two topics, the signings and Jordan Henderson. So obviously this news broke that from James Pearson, the Athletic, David Ornstein, that about Jordan Henderson, that more or less, if you read between the lines, it was just saying he's 2 years left in his contract. He's 31 years of age, and the club haven't offered him a new deal, right? So there wasn't, when you read between it, there wasn't much panic as was made out to be. I think this has become a bit of a circus around this transfer because it's Jordan Henderson, because it's Liverpool, and because obviously, but I mean, Henderson is on holidays at the moment. Liverpool haven't said that, and he hasn't said that. And I mean, he's 2 years left. If someone like James Milner is getting each year the contract, 1 year contract extension because of the squad harmony he has, and because of what Finner said there, he's like a big brother that everyone loves, and same with Milner and the squad. I've no doubt about it. With the servant Jordan Henderson's been to Liverpool, what he's achieved with the attitude, the desire, the discipline, everything he has. I mean, there's a couple of seasons ago in pre-season in America where Jurgen Klopp was singing his praises, saying after he leaves, what's for Jordan Henderson, he talked about we could go into management here at Liverpool. So basically, Liverpool is in Hendo's heart, and he's a part in this club for years. So if it's nothing to do with Jurgen Klopp, it's not going to happen. I mean, I've seen tabloids and on the news about Atletico, PSG, and Juventus. I really think it's silly season. It's something I'd ignore. I would wait till Hendo gets back. I'd wait till the club say something about it, which they haven't. And you could say the same about Van Dijk, Alisson. They haven't got long left in their contracts. They're prized assets to us. And I think this is all coming from the whole Gini Wijnaldum thing, but I think the whole thing with Gini was he was on 70 grand a week. He wanted double. Apparently the club offered him more in the 100 and something mark, but it wasn't double, and he decided to leave. Fair enough. I know Barcelona was his preferred destination. It's a dream come true to play for Barca. It didn't happen because of money. He's went to PSG, got the paycheck he wanted, and all's well ends well. Obviously Liverpool missed out on that, but there does become, at a time at Liverpool and with owners and with a business, you have to say, well, I need to be mindful on what contracts I'm offering here, because if I give someone 200 grand a week, the other person's coming on my door demanding, or someone else is demanding more. And that's what I like about Liverpool, that the wage structure is really good. And I know, like, we can't always play things by the book, and rules are there to be broken, that sort of thing, that we need to break the bank sometimes and give someone big money. But at the same time, we have to be very, very mindful about that, because when you look at Liverpool, straight away you think of mentality, attitude, unity, togetherness. But that could all be gone with that. So the whole Jordan Henderson thing, I wouldn't get too sucked into it. That's just my own view and take on it now. I could be wrong. I don't think it's going to happen. I think next year it'd be a different conversation. I think after next year, you're possibly talking about extending it by a year. The club are probably looking, he's 31, gets a fair share of injuries. Let's see how next year goes, and let's have a better conversation next summer. Because if this year to come up and he got a lot of injuries and, someone else come in and we're doing a bit better, I think it'd be a different it'd be a different conversation. So for me, I think it's a bit pessimistic. It's a bit negative for us to think that way. But I'm happy to roll with it, wait and see how the season pans out, wait and see what Jordan obviously offers next season, and then I think they will talk. But I think the owners are boxing clever on this, and I believe if Jurgen Klopp wants him, he's going to get him. He's going to get him to stay and extend that contract. And I think, like, Jurgen Klopp obviously wanted Gini Wijnaldum, but he probably hadn't got full control there when it came to money and that, you know what I mean? And look, the another thing on the transfers, I know we're being linked with Seoul and this and that, and anyone we're linked with, United, Chelsea, Man City are linked to it, and I just want to be us to bring in a player that they're not linked to it, you know what I mean? But I believe, I have to say this, so I think since the whole Van Dijk thing in the summer a couple of years ago, I believe someone at the club was sacked because of the leak, and then Liverpool to pull out of the deal, and then obviously to come back in January and got it. But Liverpool, if you remember from there to currently now, they played their cards close to their chest, and they give very little information away about transfers. So you look at last season, no one really seen Tsimikas coming in. We were going for the young lad off Norwich who plays for Northern Ireland, the fullback. It didn't happen. Something about the wages brought in Tsimikas. It was unbelievable in the Europa League at left forward for Olympiacos against Traore off Wolves. Yeah. Good signing. We're seeing him evolve, and now we get game time. Thiago obviously was the no-brainer. We got him, but Jota no one's seeing. So there's been a couple of signs of late that no one's really seen. But I know Liverpool will have a short list. They're probably not going to meet all them. Some of these players are linked with probably aren't on it. Maybe some are. But I think if Jurgen Klopp wants someone, he's going to get them, because I think he has this thing with the owners now, and there's a little bit of guilt there with this whole Super League, that the owners will play ball with him, and they know how good he is and the god he is, and you know what he means to the fans and what he's done with the season. You look at last season, I think Rio Ferdinand said it best, that if it was any other club, they finished 10th or struggled to get mid-table, but Liverpool finished third, an unbelievable achievement. So I think we get who we want. Mightn't always get the first target, of course, but I remember talking to Conroy as well about this, that we need, like, when it comes to backup players and like for likes, it's going to be very, very hard to get, especially, like, are you going to get someone as good as Salah? Are they going to want to come and sit on the bench for Liverpool? So it's a hard one to call. I do believe there's business to be done, and I think business will be done. Normally, the stat, I think, is 52, 53 days into the transfer market is when Liverpool make that big signing, that marquee signing. So for me, I think we're probably just entering that now. We've already brought in Konate, we're all pleased about. But there's no doubt about it, there's not two, 3, possibly 4 to come in the door, I believe. But we'll wait and see. It's always mad when it comes to the summer transfer window and Jurgen Klopp's being in. We're all scratching our heads. We'll link with this, we'll link with that. And the next of all is the deal done for someone, you know. So, it's good points, though. I do think so, yeah.
Yeah. And like, speaking about, for example, Liverpool holding their cards close to their chest, and to be fair, I quite like that, because a lot of clubs, this gets leaked, that gets leaked, and it shows that there's, like, to me, that there's a bit of disunity at the club, or there's someone in the club wanting to be the guy who breaks the news, sort of thing. And me being a bit premature about the whole Henderson situation, I've just been looking at some of the comments, and it's true. Like, I don't think Henderson's going to leave, and it's what Ali said about the media spinning everything. I mean, we all know what British media is like when it comes to football, and it's probably one of the worst places to be mentioned. And this whole thing of us, like, for example, like Thiago signing, even Tsimikas and stuff like that, that we didn't see these signings coming. Thiago one maybe, but the Tsimikas one, I didn't see that coming. And
no.
It's about, and even for them, keeping that, maintaining that, okay, we're bidding for this player at this price, and we're not going higher than that price. We're sticking to our salary of this price, and keeping to their laws a little bit. I appreciate that, and I know that in this Premier League, like, you've got to break the bank to compete and all that sort of stuff. But you look at teams like, I think Barcelona is a great example this season when they released the players' wages. I don't know how true that was, but I'm sure everyone saw that going around where it's got the players' wages, and it's just, they had an outgoing of a ridiculous amount of money every single week. A club like that, you can generate as much money as you want. There's going to be a point where you're paying out so much money that you just can't maintain what's going on at the club. And I think that Liverpool, as a club that we are, because one thing we managed to refrain from is becoming that commercial club. And like, you look at Arsenal or Manchester United, and I think they've lost that family atmosphere, that pride in who they are kind of thing, and they've lost that culture off their club a little bit. Whereas with Liverpool, I feel like we've been able to maintain that culture, and we've never been that club that goes and buys like who even puts in a bid for someone like Messi. Do you understand what I mean? We've never been that club that goes and says, all right, we're gonna be the biggest spender this summer transfer window. We've always been the team that's going to be like, all right, these are the kind of this is our short list of players. This is the maximum price we're going to bid for them. If they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. And you got to appreciate that, because we pulled off some solid signings at great prices. Mo Salah, great example. Even
and you look Saif, right? So Mo Salah was when he came to Liverpool. A lot of some fans would have said neutral. Even some Liverpool fans, I'm sure, he was a reject that wasn't going to walk out. He's in the Premier League. You signed the player in the Italian league. It's awful. Same with Gini. Who was he? He's relegated. Andy Robertson.
Even Luis Suarez. I remember when we signed Luis Suarez. I'll be honest. I only knew him because of that handball situation in the World Cup. But literally, I remember the everyone just going a bit mad about why we're signing some random guy from Argentina, Uruguay, and everyone talking about him. And then he literally came into the Premier League, and it was just like, whoa, like this guy is quality. Even Fernando Torres, there was a little bit of hype around him, but even then, it was just like, why are we going for these semi-decent players instead of the best players? And I think that's
most of our signings we've signed. Like when we've signed big name players, they probably haven't done as well as we expected. There's always that pressure and that element of that we just automatically demand. Where other players, like you remember when we signed, even going back to the Champions League win season 2004, Xavi Alonso. I mean, we got him and gassed him for 10 million or less or something, and the player he came out to be. So many players down the years that we kind of made them better. I'm talking about when Rafa was there, Brendan Rodgers, but Jurgen Klopp seems to be just mastering that. Like, I mean, when Jurgen Klopp brings in a player now, like and you go back to transfers. Look at how long it's taken United to sign Sancho and get that deal done. So it's not a matter of like FIFA or Pro Evolution where you go out saying, I'm going to offer this, you get it done. There's a lot of admin work, a lot of paperwork, a lot behind the backgrounds. And then to be a Liverpool player, Jurgen Klopp's demanding attitude, discipline. He's demanding work rate. You know, you're no good to Jurgen Klopp if you're technically an unbelievable player, but you're late for training. You know, you feel like turn on when you want to, you do this, you do that. You just don't have that mentality. And with Jurgen Klopp, it's attitude, it's mentality, and you have to, like, there's none of this, it's too hard, or we mightn't do it. Everything is, we're going to do, we fight,
and as a team and as a unit as well.
Exactly, and that's what he wants. He wants players to get on with players. He doesn't just want someone, a prima donna, turning up. Right, lads, I've won this. I have 10, 11 medals on the table. I have won more cups. I've done this and that, but doesn't fit into the system. And that's, like, we look at players and we think, bring Messi into Liverpool. What a player he'd be, you know, break the bank, get them. But there's so much behind the scenes that go on that I'd imagine it's hard. It's a really, really tough job because you're trying to balance the books and, you know, you're trying to get things financially right. You're trying to get the club right financially, not short term, but long term. I think the club financially are in a really good place. I do. I know, look, we've had the issues with the Super League, but so is every other top European club out there. So it's not just Liverpool. And I know there could have been more diligence with the fans. There could have been a better proposal, and there could have been, and look, they've come out and regretted all that and talked about it. So I don't feed into the whole thing of this narrative of that Liverpool just don't spend the money and that's it. And you know, if you actually do your research and you do feed into what's there, you'll actually see that since the owners have come in, they've delivered to the Holy Grail. We've got European Cups. They brought us in Klopp. They brought in some of these players that, as I said, they don't buy superstars, they make superstars. So, you know, you can't, there's an argument as well to defend and what's happening. But I believe there's players coming in, there's business to be done, and I think it will be done. And there's going to be one or two surprises. Like you look at Jarrett Bowen yesterday, that came out of nowhere. He's on a short list. But then it also makes sense because so is John McGinn. So it's, you know, there's a lot of this that I think as fans we just need to kind of accept more. But I
think, sorry, I just wanted to.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Finner's point, the comment below the one that you've highlighted, where he said we can compare ourselves to Leicester, but we can't. But we also can't because they've made huge money with their buy to sell model.
I'll just get that up there.
Yeah, I think. Look, Finner's like, you're making a really good point there, and the whole Moneyball thing and everything that everyone was discussing when FSG came in and their style of buying players to generate money and all that sort of stuff. Because from what I understand, anyways, the concept of the system was to find players that are just about to break through, buy them, they increase in value, and then we can sell them when they kind of are at their best, or just when they've just passed it. When we've made the most of them, we kind of sell them on, and as a club like that, we can generate tons of money. But there's advantages to the way we have run things, because it doesn't necessarily feel like we've done that. Like later on, he said that we're selling Grujic, we're selling Wilson, Nico, Taki, Shaq, and Origi. And all right, we're not necessarily selling them, but chances are we are going to get rid of them eventually for small amounts of money.
Grujic is gone, isn't he? 10 million. I mean, we bought him for less than half of that. He made 8 appearances or 7 appearances for us in 5 years.
With the system that we've got running in place, like you don't want to end up becoming a feeder club for a start, because say we pick up a player like all right, we've got Owen Beck who played today. You get a player like Owen Beck. Say we bought.
You know a bit about him, actually, don't you? He's the fullback Owen Beck. Did you thought you seen something before? Maybe I'm not, but
he's a friend,
yeah, unbelievable, yeah, quality, and deserves his contract, obviously, and obviously you could say he's assisted that goal today, couldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, look, like, we can take him as an example. If he starts developing as a player, breaks into the first team, we've got 2 options there. Either we say, okay, he fits into our system, we're going to keep him, or we can say we're going to sell him. He's worth this much amount of money, and we don't want to start becoming a feeder club, because let's just say we end up selling him to Chelsea, even though I don't see that ever happening. But let's just say we sell him to Chelsea and Chelsea make the most out of him. We've never been that club to develop a player and then sell him to our competition. Even like to sell him on to Barcelona and stuff like that. We've made the most out of our players. And if we did start selling these players, and we wanted to sell these players at a high price, not only are we selling them to our competition, but that means we're selling a player that we know has the quality. And we're not the kind of team to do that. We hold on to our players. Like Mo Salah, for example. Right now, we could probably sell him for a decent amount of money, and I'm sure there's a few clubs that would be interested if he was up for the transfer. But I can't really see anyone going in for him. And why would we get rid of him? We know his quality. He fits into our system well, and he's a bloody hard worker. We might as well make the most out of his peak and then get what we can for him when he's kind of on his way down.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And look, Finners makes good points there, selling Grujic, Wilson, Nico, Taki, Shaq. Look, we're going to definitely generate more money from them than what we paid. Shaqiri would be hard to get more than 13 million to be paid, because obviously he's at in his career.
But did you see him in the Euros though?
Yeah. And do you know what? He's the type of player, he's always done it internationally. Club level he has, but not internationally he's just been unbelievable. I don't know whether that's because it's only here and there you play games, but
I just feel for him, it's a little bit difficult, because I feel like he needs a lot more game time, but you can't expect to give him more game time just because he needs more game time. Like, he needs to perform when he gets the chances.
Shout out there as well to Luke Hannon's story. That's yup. We won't get into a conversation about FSG, because Luke is definitely not an admirer of them. He wants Liverpool to splash the cash and bring in the best of the best, and don't worry about us financially. We all want that, I hear that, as Finner says, but with contract issues surrounding Mo, VVD, Sadio, etc., I can't foresee us making money off them deals. No, I don't think so. And I think they're players we don't want to lose now. They're going to be pivotal for us going forward, especially Van Dijk, Mo, and Alisson, aren't they? And Mo was hitting 30 now as well. Van Dijk is 30. Mane, so they're all getting to that age where there's not going to be too many years of them left at the best. And if we're going to keep competing and we're going to look to go onwards and upwards, will they be a part of the future 3 or 4 years' time? Who knows? But it's...
But that's the thing. That's the kind of situation we get stuck in, though, right? Like, for example, you can say Sadio Mane right now. Everyone knows he's incredible, like a super player, great attitude, fast,
world class,
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Right now, we've got the option. Even like he had a bit of a bad season last season, and we've got the option now that we know his value is this high. If a club came in to put a bid on him, for example, do we want to keep him, or do we want to keep him, knowing that in 2 years' time his value is going to go down, but he's going to perform well for us, or do we want to sell him at a higher price and invest that money into new players to build a new future? And it's kind of the limbo we get stuck in with a lot of our players.
Yeah. Well, I think some of them you're going to just have to take the chance and keep, because I think at the moment, Salah, you're not replacing him. Okay, you might in the future, but I think the position we're in now, we need as many of the good players as we need at the moment, and kind of worry about that in the future. But there's no doubt, like when you look at that Coutinho deal, 140 something million in titles then to go on by Van Dijk, who was I mean, massive what he's won and how good he's been and pivotal. Same with Alisson. So we actually evolved more. And at the time, I remember being critical myself of FSG, being critical at the club, let him go, being critical at Coutinho, because remember the back problems and he's kind of putting on a bit of injury at the time to force a move. But it turned out to be an unbelievable thing. So I think sometimes you just have to buy patience and kind of in some way trust the process, but it's easier said than done. I know, and you're caught an alliator. He's a Ian Rush nephew, I think he is, isn't he?
About Owen Beck,
about Owen Beck, yeah. We can fund our transfers of moving out youth like Kian Hoover last year, potentially Nico, etc. Yeah, that's also true. I don't listen to local journalists and stories come from outside Liverpool. Rumours all story come out of Spain, and that's true because I mean, we're not like, are we hearing some of these stories like around Renato Sanchez and that, like, are we hearing that Liverpool have put a bid in or Liverpool are definitely interested? Because you don't hear the club officially saying that, and you don't hear.
Because of Twitter, you don't even know where some of these start from. Like, I don't even know where the Henderson thing started from, and even the Saul thing. I remember there was this like 2-3 days where there was this constant talk about Liverpool and Saul, and then suddenly no one's talking about it anymore. People are just talking about Liverpool missed an opportunity, but who knew? Like, where did it start? No one even knows where some of this stuff even comes from.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, shout out there as well to Conroy Talks. Big up, Conroy. Big up, guys. Yeah, cheers, Conroy. We were on a stream earlier at the LFC Day Trippers. Go and check it out. It's the countdown to kickoff. A new show we'll be doing before games with just one of the other lads as well, and Chris Brack. So go over and like and subscribe as well to Conroy Talks channel. Some good stuff. Yeah, look, it's I suppose. I don't know whether you feel any better after that, Saif. But sorry,
I've got a question for you. How are you feeling about this season coming up?
I'm excited for it. I think if the Premier League starts tomorrow, we 14 or 15 really good players. The only problem is, do we have to strengthen depth? I don't think we'll have another season like last season where we'll have the whole COVID situation, no fans. We'll have the amount of injuries that we had, which was beyond the joke at the time. Really impressed with how we finished off the season. We won 8 of our last 10. Very impressed with that unity, the togetherness in the team. We thought we were very compact, very composed. We've seen Thiago involved, and you can see now Kanate, Van Dijk, Matip coming back, Gomez, giving us all better options. If we do dip into transfer market, which I think we will, and again enhance that squad and bring in quality, then yeah, I'm happy. I'm taking that all day long. So I'm happy. I'm happy about the season coming up, and I'm excited for it as well. So at the moment, we'll just wait and see what happens. Yeah. But the first game of the season, nothing but 3 points. That's the main thing. Then we Burnley and Chelsea at home, and I think that's August done with. So if we were to get 9 points from those 3 or 7, it's a good start to the month. Most important thing is we're unbeaten. But I'm more looking forward now to the ins and outs of what's going to happen in the transfer market.
Wait. And I miss the excitement of watching Liverpool play. So I just seen that comment. I think we'll win the treble, guys. So, because I'll be honest, I'd love that. I think all of us would. But I think my biggest fear of next season, by the way, isn't so much our performances. It's the other big teams out there, like Chelsea, United, and I don't think Arsenal really fit into that mix. I mean, you could almost say Aston Villa with their work in the transfer window. So, I would say like I'm a little bit intimidated to see what they can perform, but then also we've seen that big money signings don't always doesn't always mean you're going to win the Premier League. So it's all up for grabs.
Well, you look at the season we went on where we didn't sign many, and we blitzed the Premier League title. I mean, last season again, I think it goes unrecognised. We finished less points behind Man City than they did the season before us, and they were only missing Laporte. And all the signings we missed, and we gave up on it in February. Look, I think Liverpool, I've always said this, so no matter what, we have the best mentality, the best manager of the job, the best attitude, discipline. We've just lads that'll go in there and fight till they have to, and they go through a war with the manager. And that for me is an extraordinary strength. So I'm excited for a season in that sense. And then obviously you're going to need quality as well. And you need technique at the same time. But for me, it's determination and the attitude and the mentality wins it over for me any day. You go back to the Euros and you look at some of the games. You look at France and Switzerland, 9 minutes to go. France are winning 3-1. They're not losing that game. And just that mentality, that desire, that passion gets Switzerland through. And now I know that's not always sustainable. But it doesn't have to be, because Liverpool also have quality and with some world-class players in that team as well, some extraordinary athletes. So, let's see. Finners there's thrown in another one. In fact, Saif looks at Chelsea last summer, 7 key signs, and they flopped. Yeah, there's another one. And I mean, everybody was going mad when we didn't sign the lad from Chelsea that came in. Fair enough. It was fine and Timo, wasn't it? Like, everyone was going mad when we didn't sign him. Then we get Jota, scores 11 goals, gets an assist, and comes off the bench more times than he starts and misses 3 months of football because he was injured. So, it just shows, we know what we're doing recruitment.
Yeah, when you talk about it, we had some serious bad luck last season. Like, I literally, could anything else have gone wrong? And even, like, for example, Finish talking about Chelsea and waiting for Tuchel to come in to actually make the difference. We know we've got a quality manager in Klopp, and we've gone for a bad patch. And any professional does. Even the greatest go through difficult periods. And I mean, I don't know. Now you're making me excited for next season. So
yeah, that's the energy we need. That's the energy, Saif. Yeah. No, I am looking forward to it. I think these things, when you think too much into it and you look at the negatives, if you don't have Twitter, if you don't have social media now, you're not hearing as much of these rumours of this stuff, and you're confident about Liverpool going in, and you're trusting, the whole process. And I am excited for it. And look, I mean, every club's improving, but as I just mentioned, the strengths we have that clubs don't have, that money can't buy. And look, we're going to spend. There's business to be done, I've no doubt about it. Right, we'll get into the last comment there. Don't hate for me this with Tammy Abraham potentially available. I don't think he would be a poor sign if we tried going in for him. And that's also, again, another good point about homegrown players. It's not as easy as, we can just go out and sign this, that, and draw, because we obviously have to take into consideration the whole homegrown thing. What do you think of Tammy Abraham?
I think,
is he?
I don't know. I'm 50-50 about him, because he's done good for Chelsea.
Yeah, he has.
But I feel like he might suit their style of football more. But it'll be interesting, like, for example, if we did go for Abraham, and to see a different dynamic to us, because I'm just trying to think of any players similar to him that we've had, but nothing comes to mind right now.
Not really, not as that number 9. No, we haven't really, like you're seeing, even Italy there in the Euros win the Euros incredibly well and deserved with kind of a false 9 without a number 9. So, there's also rumours that Salah will play more central next season. You'll have Firmino there, you'll have Ox as the backup, and Liverpool are going to look at more of a wide man. Do you know what I mean? There's more competition there with Jota and Mane. So, I mean, who knows what the thinking is really? It's the first kind of big pre-season friendly today, the first 90 minutes one. So it's early days to kind of know what's going to go on, I believe.
Did Firmino play today, by the way?
No. Firmino, Alisson, Fabinho are all still on holiday in Henderson because they're Copa America and obviously the Euro. So
fair enough. Yeah.
Robertson and Jota were back.
But sorry, one thing that just came to mind. It would be interesting to see how we're going to the next season using Firmino, because obviously there's been no talk of him going anywhere or anything like that. So he's still part of the grain of the club and everything. And I feel Klopp still believes in him massively. It would be very interesting to see how we start using him, because obviously we've tried Ox in the number 9 position, and then we were talking about that, I've forgotten his name, that Serbian player. So
Kalasovic,
I'm really intrigued to see how we use Firmino in next season, because we saw he kind of struggled a little bit, like his pace has slowed down a little bit over last season and whatnot. So if he is to drop a little bit deeper and Salah to move into the middle, I mean, you never know.
Who knows? Yeah. Well, that's there has been a lot of talk and speculation has been rife around that. But I said again, I don't know, but we know Salah could do a job there. He's our most prolific goal scorer. He's the one that mostly, with him taking penalties as well, looks the most likely to score. And when you go through the stats, I mean, it's incredible the goals he's got. He's got the 70 goals, Premier League goals quicker than Torres, Fowler, you know what I mean? Owen, for some unbelievable great strikers. There's so many chats there coming in. Big up to all lads, Ali A, Finners again, Ryan as well. One love, everyone the chats, big up to you as well, Ryan. Everyone go over, like and subscribe to LFC Domination. It's Ryan there. Big up, Ryan. Gotta fly the streams. Take care, lads. Yeah, take care as well, Finners. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Big love to you. So I am looking forward to the season, and we'll just wait and see what happens, Saif. But it's a pleasure to get you on today, brother. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for giving your time. It's great to see you and obviously talk to you again. It's been a long time.
I'm sure we'll see each other a lot more over the season as
Yes,
Hopefully we go
yes.
for another Premier League title.
Hopefully, you're going to try and get to a game of the new season early on, or any plans for that?
I mean, I'm hoping to try go to as many as I can. Just depends on where I can get tickets from.
Yeah, that's going to be the issue now after COVID, isn't it? But it's great to see you be full capacity. Big shout out there as well to Crystal Palace fan who sometimes comes on. Diego C. Palace evening to you as well. So yes, that's it. We'll wrap that up. So great contribution from you today. Really good talking points. And look, it's a Friday evening. The sun's still boiling out here, and it's after 9:30 in the evening. And it's great to see it. Sun's out, guns out, and yeah, that's it. Also, Liverpool have won, finally beating Mainz in a pre-season friendly, finally keeping a clean sheet as well. A lot of positives to take from today, and they can roll on now here to Berlin on Thursday, which again is going to be another big game in Austria. Well done all. Cheers, Diego C. Palace. Yeah, well done to you, bro, and thanks for the like and subscribe and comment. So everybody go over and like, subscribe and comment to Official Saif. I'm sure you'll be doing a bit of content soon, Saif, yeah?
Yeah. As the season starts, I'll be back on
couple of match vlogs and
yeah,
I love that, brother. Yeah, but thanks to all. Take care and remember to like and subscribe, and thanks to everybody that has so far. Thank you all. Good evening.